Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to have you here. If you have ever found yourself interested in the quest for eternal youth, reversing the aging process, or simply extending your healthy lifespan, you have likely come across NMN. It is currently the star ingredient in a variety of functional supplements, marketed with a laundry list of miraculous claims, from turning back the clock and activating longevity genes to boosting the immune system, preventing cardiovascular disease and diabetes, enhancing memory, and even supercharging vitality. One major pharmacy chain even went as far as calling it the secret to Japanese longevity. It sounds impressive, doesn't it? It sounds like the legendary elixir of life that Emperor Qin Shi Huang spent his entire reign searching for. But what is the actual truth behind these claims? Have humans finally discovered the ultimate immortality pill? Let's dive in and find out. First, we need to understand what NMN actually is. NMN stands for Nicotinamide Mononucleotide. It is a direct precursor to nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, or NAD+. Now, NAD+ is a central coenzyme in human metabolism, and it is found in every single living cell in your body. Think of NAD+ as an essential electron carrier that helps your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells, produce ATP molecules. ATP is the fundamental energy currency that fuels your daily life. Beyond energy production, NAD+ is deeply involved in repairing damaged DNA, maintaining genomic stability, and preventing the types of mutations that can lead to cancer. Furthermore, NAD+ is absolutely essential for the activity of sirtuins. These are a family of proteins responsible for activating genes that protect cells from stress while simultaneously switching off genes associated with the aging process. To put it simply, you can think of NAD+ as a vital catalyst for life itself, and NMN is the raw material required to produce it. Every cell in your body utilizes NAD+, and therefore, they all require its precursor, NMN, to function correctly. The key factor here is that your cells must have a sufficient supply of NMN to generate enough NAD+ to support these critical biological functions. NMN is not actually a rare substance. It can be found in many common and affordable foods, such as cow's milk, various vegetables, and meat. The real issue is that the concentration of NAD+ in the human body naturally declines over time. As we age, our NAD+ levels drop. This happens because, as the body gets older, it accumulates more damage, requiring more DNA repair. This process consumes NAD+ at a rate that often exceeds what the body can replenish through a standard diet. Alternatively, it's possible that as we age, our body's internal capacity to synthesize NAD+ from NMN simply diminishes, which can lead to various age-related diseases. Following that logic, taking NMN supplements orally to maintain youthful vigor and extend lifespan seems like a perfectly reasonable idea. But is NMN truly a perfect 10 without any drawbacks? A study published in the U.S. National Library of Medicine in 2019 found that when researchers genetically modified mice to lower their natural NAD+ levels, it resulted in metabolic disorders. However, when they supplemented these mice with NAD+ precursors, specifically nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN, and nicotinamide riboside, NR, it helped improve those metabolic conditions. Essentially, this research suggested that supplementing with NMN and NR could treat metabolic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, lipid disorders, and fatty liver disease in mice. I want to emphasize that, in mice. Indirectly, one could argue that NMN and NR improved the health and lifespan of these mice safely. However, even though the genomes of mice and humans are about 85% identical, that does not guarantee that the effects of NMN and NR will be the same in humans. You cannot simply take the results of a mouse study and use them to market a drug or supplement intended for human consumption, or at the very least, you must clearly state that the evidence is based on animal models. It's quite ironic, when people watch a video from a popular YouTuber, they often scrutinize every single word. Yet, when a doctor or a pharmacy sells a supplement claiming 69 magical benefits that haven't been fully verified, people are often quick to open their wallets. But I digress. Actually, there have been studies on the effects of NMN in humans. In February 2023, a group of researchers published the results of a clinical trial regarding the effects of NMN on the human body in the U.S. National Library of Medicine. The study involved 80 healthy middle-aged adults, with an average age of 49.3, who were divided into 4 groups. 3 of these groups were given oral NMN at daily doses of 300 mg, 600 mg, and 900 mg for a period of 60 days. The 4th group received a placebo, pills that look like medicine but contain no active ingredients. The results were quite interesting. The NAD+ levels in the blood of the 3 groups taking NMN daily increased significantly by day 30 and day 60 compared to both the placebo group and their own baseline levels. The highest NAD+ concentrations were observed in the groups taking 600 mg and 900 mg of NMN per day. Furthermore, the NMN was well tolerated, with no reported side effects. In a 6-minute walking test, the NMN groups covered a significantly longer distance than the placebo group, with the 600 mg and 900 mg groups performing the best. When blood tests were conducted, the biological age of the blood in the placebo group increased significantly over the 60 days. In contrast, the blood age of the NMN groups remained unchanged or even decreased, suggesting that NMN might have an anti-aging effect by preventing the aging of blood cells. This sounds incredibly promising and credible. Many news outlets likely took these results and spun them into headlines claiming NMN can extend life or even act as a fountain of youth. However, we took the time to actually read the full study. And do you know what we found? The study claimed that the blood age of the people who did not take NMN increased by a staggering 5.5 years in just 60 days. Yes, you heard that right, aging 5.5 years in just 2 months. Meanwhile, the blood age of the 3 NMN groups fluctuated slightly, decreasing by about 1 to 1.5 years in some cases. The 600 mg group supposedly saw a decrease of over a year. If that isn't reversing age, what is? But let's look closer. It turns out the researchers calculated the blood age of the participants by taking blood samples on day 0 and day 60 and then plugging those metrics into a free online blood age calculator. This tool, which appears to be an AI-driven engine called Aging.ai 3.0, is actually no longer accessible. When we looked into the accuracy of this tool, we found that it is highly controversial. In reality, there is no way to verify its accuracy because the specific methodology used to calculate blood age was never made public. Therefore, you have every reason to be skeptical about the claims that NMN can reverse aging or significantly extend your life based on this specific study. Furthermore, there is another issue you should consider if you're planning to buy NMN as a gift for a loved one. While NMN has been shown in clinical trials to be safe, well tolerated, and effective at increasing NAD+ levels in the blood, these studies were conducted on healthy, middle-aged individuals. Whether NMN can actually treat or prevent metabolic diseases like obesity, diabetes, or fatty liver in patients who already have these conditions is something that still requires much more research. If you are skeptical of our analysis, that's perfectly fine. But you should consider the stance of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. Any drug or supplement intended for distribution in the United States must fall under their regulatory scope. While functional supplements are not classified as drugs and do not require formal FDA approval to be sold, manufacturers are required to notify the FDA about any new dietary ingredients, NDI. These ingredients must be reviewed before a new supplement can hit the market. In May 2022, the FDA initially acknowledged an NDI notification for NMN from a pharmaceutical company based in Shanghai. However, by November of that same year, the FDA abruptly revoked this. Simultaneously, the agency issued a ban on the sale of NMN as a dietary supplement across the United States. This ban does not necessarily mean that NMN is unsafe. Rather, it means the FDA no longer classifies NMN as a dietary supplement. Instead, they view it as an investigational drug. They are currently investigating its potential benefits and risks before it can be officially marketed. Prior to this, in 2015, the FDA sent a warning letter to Elysium Health, a company that was marketing NMN as a supplement. The letter stated that the company's claims regarding NMN's ability to treat, mitigate, or prevent disease were not scientifically proven. While some studies conducted after 2015, like the ones we discussed, have shown positive clinical results, the regulatory landscape remains complex. To wrap things up, NMN is undeniably an important precursor to NAD+, a coenzyme that is central to our metabolism, genomic repair, and gene expression. The desire to supplement with NMN in hopes of achieving a healthier, longer life is a perfectly valid pursuit. However, it is important to recognize that many of the touted benefits of NMN supplements have been exaggerated by marketing departments and have not yet been fully proven by rigorous science. Additionally, the long-term effects of taking NMN as a supplement or drug are still not well understood. For these reasons, you should exercise caution before starting an NMN regimen. These are our views based on a synthesis of current scientific research. But what do you think? We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences with NMN in the comments below. As always, if you found this information helpful, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.